back to another episode of Craig's Custom Cooking. Tonight I'm going to make Italian stuffed shells. It's one of our favorites. My neighbors have a treat coming up because we can never eat a full recipe of stuffed shells, so I'm going to make half of it for us. I'm going to give the other half to my neighbors. They're really excited. She said she can't wait till supper. So let me readjust my camera and I'll bring you back. Alright, I'm going to be double tasking here for a little bit. In this pot I have 4 quarts of water. I'm going to bring this to a boil and I'm going to put my shells in. I'm using the Barilla jumbo shells. I'm going to be using 20 of them. So I have 20 of them in this strainer. I picked out the ones that aren't broken because when you get a box, some of them are inevitably broken. You can use them if you want. It's just easier if you have a full shell. Turn this water on and get that boiling. Now, in this pan, I'm going to add some olive oil. Maybe 3 tablespoons. And there's a reason I'm putting a lot of olive oil in this pan, because tonight for supper I'm going to be using this, which comes from Silver Spring Farms or Silver Firm Farms. I get it at Safeway. It's a ground venison. Venison's very lean, doesn't have hardly any fat in it, so you're going to have to add the fat to this particular type of meat. So I'm going to put that in my pan. I'm going to get it chopped down. We're going to let it brown up. This is going to take a while, so I'm going to be bringing you back through the process. I'm sure you all ground hamburger, sausage, every other type of meat. It's no different. You're just going to cut it into the smallest pieces you can. Let me get this browning. Let me introduce you to the other changes to the recipe. I'm going to be adding 4 cups of baby spinach. I'm actually going to cut it up so it's smaller, so I'll end up with 2 cups once it's chopped up finer. And I'm going to add 2 cups of pepperjack cheese. I'll put the mozzarella cheese on top, but I'm going to put the pepperjack inside. Because the venison doesn't have a whole lot of flavor, we are going to salt and pepper it a little bit to give it some flavor. Maybe add some garlic salt, some other seasonings to try to give it a more flavor. I'm also going to put fennel in it. So let me get this browned up and I'll bring you back. Alright, we're back. My water is boiling. I'm going to add the salt. I just had it out, but put it away by accident. You always want to salt your water when you're cooking pasta. Now I'm going to add in my 20 shells. We're going to cook them according to the package. That is 9 minutes. And we're going to drain them in the sink, run them under cold water, stop the cooking so they hold their form. Let me set a timer on this for 9 minutes. I'm going to put my strainer in the sink. Get ready. Actually, I don't have to. This is a double boiler, so I can just strain them in the boiler, then I can transfer them to the sink and run the cold water over them. Alright, my venison is all browned up. I tried to get it as small as I can, and when I show you how I'm going to stuff the shells, this will all make sense. So into this, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of fennel. I use the powdered fennel. If you watch my Italian lasagna, you'll know that I prefer the powdered fennel over the fennel seed. Garlic powder and onion powder. It's a teaspoon of all. Now, you can see in the pan, it's very dry. Like I said, venison is a very dry meat. Turn my heat down. So there's no grease on here to drain off whatsoever. Alright, now here's my spinach that I chopped up. I'm going to add that to the pan. And you guys know in the past from cooking spinach, if you start out with a whole pan of spinach, by the time you're done, you just have a little bit of spinach left. It really shrinks up when you cook it. So by the time I'm done, I don't even know if you'll be able to see the spinach in here, but at least you know it's in there. You've seen me put it in, but it's definitely going to wilt down. So what I'm going to do is spread this out evenly. Cover it with a lid. I got it on low right now, and I'm just going to wilt down that spinach. And I'll bring you back when that's done. Alright. This is my venison and my spinach. You can see the spinach in it. It's wilted down a lot from what I put in. So I'm going to push this to the back of the stove and let it cool, because we're going to be adding our other cheeses to it, and I don't want it overly hot when we do that. My shells have about a minute left. I'll bring you back when I drain those. My timer's about to go off here shortly. There we go. I'm going to turn the burner on. I'm just going to pick this up out of my pan. It's already in a strainer. Back and forth a little bit because the shells sometimes have water in them. I'm going to transfer these to the strainer in my sink, run cold water over them. Once I get that done, I'll put them in this bowl and show you. I'm not set up to show you the kitchen sink, so let me go ahead and do that. I'll bring you back. Welcome back. The other night when I made Italian meatball subs, I used 1 jar of the 5 cheese and 1 jar of the Italian sausage. What I did is I combined both of them in the same jar. I'm going to use that tonight to make the stuffed shells. This is a 24-ounce jar. So this has two different sauces inside of this jar. So it should make it really good. Now in this bowl, I have my sausage and spinach. Well, venison and spinach, not sausage. To this, I'm going to add 8 ounces of ricotta cheese. If you guys have been watching my channel, you'll know I'm not fond of all ricotta cheese. And then we're going to add half a container of cottage cheese. So there's my half a container in here. Add 1 whole egg. Add 2 cups of the pepperjack cheese, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and that's it for now. We're going to mix this all up. It should get really creamy, hopefully, and we will break my egg up and we'll stuff our shells. If it's not creamy enough, you can always add another egg. It's a binder. It's going to help hold everything together once you get it in here. Let me revert to one. Actually, I'm going to use the rubber spatula. Fold everything together. Let me get this mixed up and I'll bring you back. Alright. I have it mixed up. I actually added the rest of the cottage cheese. It was a little dry. Venison is once you fry it and everything, it doesn't have a lot of grease or liquid in it. So I added 16 ounces of cottage cheese, 8 ounces of ricotta cheese, and one more egg. I put one more egg in it. So now it's at a consistency that'll work. Let me get my pan set up. I'll bring you back. Alright. Tonight I'm going to use two 8x8 pans instead of a 9x13, because this one's going to go to the neighbors. This one has a lid that can pop on the top of it. I don't have to worry about aluminum foil, saran wrap, anything like that. So now, in these two pans, we're going to take our pasta sauce. Put enough in to cover the bottom, probably about 3/4 of a cup in each. You want to save some for on the top. Now, pardon that, one of my ramekins just fell on the ground. Luckily it didn't break. So there. We have these done. Let me get the other part set up and I'll show you what I think is the easiest way to stuff these shells. Here I go to the bakery part of the store and I get cake decorating bags. I've tried to put it in with spoons. I've tried all kinds of different ways to stuff these shells. It always seems to turn out with a big mess. So you're just going to take your cake decorating bag and you're going to fill it with your venison. Let me clean my hands off. You're going to fill it with some of your venison and ricotta cottage cheese mixture with the spinach in it. Now you're going to cut the bottom large enough that you know it's going to come out without fighting. So now you just turn your bag, try to hold the top with my hand, get one of my shells. Fill my shell up. Put it in my pan. Let's get another one. Oop. Hold on, stop, my bag came loose. You can put as much or as little in these shells as you want. It's entirely up to you. It's good for that one. I'm going to try to get 4 to a row. Hopefully I can get 10 in this pan. just squeeze it. No mess. It's very, very easy. Alright. Let me get all these filled up and I'll bring you back. Okay, we're back. I was able to get 22. There's 11 in each dish. This is my pastry bag I'm done with. I'm just going to throw it in the trash can. I do have a little bit left over. I'm going to freeze this. Next time I make shells, I'll have some left over to make. I can also use it in a lot of other things that I'm going to make. So the next step is you're going to take a little bit of your sauce. You're going to drizzle it over the top of each one of these. Make sure I have enough. I'll come back and add a little more if I have extra left in the jar. And finish this part up. I'll bring you back. Okay, there they are. The sauce is all on top of all of them. I had just enough in the jar to cover them. If I had had another one, I wouldn't have had enough sauce. So now I'm going to take the mozzarella cheese. I get the coarse cut, or the large slices. You're going to sprinkle your mozzarella over top. Okay, that's all the mozzarella. Now I'm going to take a shredded Parmesan. I do the same thing. These should melt really nicely over top of them. We're going to have one big gooey mess, but it's going to be good. It's going to take us a little bit to try to find the shells and get them out individually, but we like a treasure hunt. A little bit more. Alright, and that is how we put together our stuffed shells. Now, I'm going to bake these. I'm going to cover them with aluminum foil. And I'm going to bake them in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to take the aluminum foil off. I'm going to put them back in the oven, and I'm going to cook it until my cheese is browned, about 5 to 10 minutes. So in total cooking time, it's going to take about 40 minutes. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator because I'm really not ready to cook them yet. It's going to be another 2.5 hours before we eat supper. I'm going to cover these with aluminum foil, put them in the refrigerator. I'll get them out later and put them in the oven. Actually, I don't even want to preheat my oven now. It'll be too soon. So I'll bring you back when they're ready to go in the oven, and then I'll show you the finished product when they're done cooking. Welcome back. My oven's up to 350 degrees. I'm going to put both. We can containers of stuffed shells in the oven. I'm going to set my timer for 30 minutes. I'll bring you back in 30 minutes. Alright, my timer just went off. Take the shells out of the oven. Uncover them. That looks really good. The cheese is melted nicely over the top. They're bubbling. Both of them look exactly the same. Now I'm going to put them back in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes and try to brown up the cheese. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes, but I'm going to check it at 5. If it's done, I'll take it out. If not, I'll let it in the additional 5 minutes. I'll bring you back. Alright, I just took them out of the oven. They're done. The last step that I do, I take some parsley. I don't have any fresh parsley, so I'm going to use dried parsley. I'm just going to sprinkle parsley over the top. The cheese is still really hot, dewy, so this parsley should stick. I'm going to wait for my wife to come home. She actually spent the day out with her girlfriends. They're having a girls' day out. So when she comes home, we'll sit down and eat these for supper. I'll bring you back then. Alright, my wife came home. Did you have a good day?
Yeah, have a good day. Have a good time. Have a blast with my friends.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to try to get her one of these out of here. They're hard to discern
beautiful.
where they're from.
Looks good.
There's one. Not two.
Yeah, please.
Very cheesy.
Looks good. Looks yummy.
Get one. Ooh. On for a ride.
Wow.
There's a lot of cheese.
Yeah.
Our dog, he's over here. He thinks he's going to get some of this. Our dog is named Rambo. He's a Shiba Inu. He's a beautiful dog.
You want me to hold him to show everybody?
Rambo, come here.
Come here, Rambo. Come here. Yeah, good boy.
He, every night that we sit down to eat, he goes to his food pan to eat while we're trying to film. So, this is Rambo. He's a part of our family. He's a very good dog. No, you're not getting mommy's food.
You will get some later, okay? Get some later.
All right.
Okay? Be good.
So, we're going to go
Still
ahead
hot. Yeah.
and... I don't think it's that high. It might be, but just take it easy. did notify the neighbor that theirs was ready. She's supposed to be coming over and picking it up. Oh, there is spinach inside of this.
Oh, that's why there's some green there.
Well, that's parsley on top.
Oh, okay.
But inside it's the spinach. 'Cause you always want green vegetables, so I put spinach inside for you.
Very good. Thank you. So considerate.
That is absolutely delicious.
I love it.
Really, really good. I made it with venison.
Oh, that's great.
Our neighbor, he's a hunter, but I didn't have any venison hamburger from him, so I bought mine at the store, but he's actually they're supposed to bring me some over in exchange for the dish of food that I'm going to give them. So I'll have more to make more in the future.
That's a good teamwork.
I'm going to try another piece of this.
Very good. Venison is good for women because they can provide more iron supplement. So it's a part of our food culture.
All right, so we're going to finish our meal. We hope you enjoy watching our channel. Please subscribe, hit the like button and the bell, and we'll see you in the next video. You have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.
Bye.